represents the views of WPHT or its management.
WPHT.
Here we go.
HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. An Odyssey station. Investor Schooling Live with Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhaus on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Coming to you from Investor Schooling Headquarters. I'm Phil Falcone, here with my business partner, Larry Steinhaus. We are the founders of Investor Schooling. Get ready to learn real estate investing and stock option investing. You can call us anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. That's right, we're a live program. So you can call us anytime during the show, no matter what we're talking about, and we will take your calls. Investor Schooling is located in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, serving the Philadelphia area in a real brick and mortar building. That's correct. We are local Philadelphia guys, accessible to our students a minimum of 2 nights per week. If you want to learn this business, the business of real estate investing and stock option investing, you want to learn it from people who live it every day. Yo, Larry, what's happening?
What's going on, Phil? I'm so excited that we're back here again talking about real estate and stock options. Isn't that awesome?
Sure.
This is what we do. We talk about real estate and stock options all week long, and then we get on the radio and talk about real estate and stock options on the weekend.
This is all we do. We don't eat. We don't watch TV. We don't talk to people. We just talk about real estate investing and stock option investing.
Well, I also talk about, not wearing a mask.
Yeah, well, that's pretty important to you. You think you're the Paul Revere of non-mask wearing.
Yeah, the Paul Revere of non-mask wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. How do we do this? The idiots are coming. The idiots are coming.
Yeah, that works.
That works.
Okay, trivia question. Who rode with Paul Revere?
A horse.
Who else?
I don't know.
If anybody knows the answer to that question,
It's got to be you.
it's not me, no.
Look at Phil. Look at Phil. Doesn't Phil look like Ben Franklin?
With the long hair,
I mean, he does. He looks like Ben Franklin. Hold on. Let's change the view so that
I'd
people
be
on Facebook
happy to
can see
look
it.
like Ben Franklin.
You'd be happy. Look at him. Does he look
I
like Ben
think-
Franklin?
I think Ben Franklin is not only the finest American who ever lived, I think he may be the finest human being who ever lived.
Wow, that's pretty good. But you weren't around then, so you don't really know his idiosyncrasies. You just know stories about him.
Idiosyncrasies?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a big word.
I know. It's
Can
got
you
more than
spell
3
that?
letters in it.
Okay.
So you don't know if he was all that great of a guy, but you do know from history that you like him.
All right. You know,
I mean, history might say that you were a good guy, but most people already know.
It sounds like a mafioso shyster.
So, back to the Paul Revere question. Who rode with Paul Revere? And if you got to look it up on Google, then don't bother calling us.
Yeah, that's not fair. Let's
Yeah.
have some fun and talk and tell the truth. Right?
Okay. So, what else are we going to talk about today?
I don't know. We talk about some real estate stuff and some stock option stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You want to talk about what's about to happen in this market? Because I think I really feel something big is about to happen, and it isn't good.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that. Why don't we get into that right now?
Yeah. So I am noticing a trend now. I have friends calling me. I have people calling me, and it's surprising me how many people took the deferred payment on their mortgage. And the people that I know that took the deferred payment on their mortgage surprises me too. Like, the people that I would never expected to do it. So for you guys who don't know what I'm talking about is really simple. Because of COVID, because of the extreme government overreach, people were afraid they wouldn't be able to pay their mortgages. So the banks, and I actually think this was an intelligent move on the bank's part, to avoid a sudden 2008, they decided to give you the option to not pay your mortgage payment for 3 or 6 months. If first it was 3 months, then it turned into 6 months. And then they would just tack on that stuff at the end. But the people who took it didn't necessarily need it. Now, the problem with that is you've got people who took a mortgage deferment for 3 or 6 months and now have gotten used to not paying their mortgage payment. It's no different than a tenant. When you've had tenants, right, and they don't pay a month, and they say to you in the middle of the month, "Don't worry, I'll give you both months next month," and you just laugh at them because you know that if they couldn't afford the 1 month, they're certainly not going to be able to afford the 2 months. Now they got to make up. Now they got to actually start paying their payment. Now, the proverbial stuff is going to hit the fan. It's going to be really bad soon. And the prediction of, I would equate this to 2006, and 2008 is 2 years away, and here we are, and it's going to start all over again. I've even seen FHA loans. I've seen FHA loans being approved for houses that are worth nowhere near what they're worth, only because of the fact that the house bubble, I just say a housing bubble, but the houses prices are going up so incredibly high. It's going to be a nightmare, but it's going to be fantastic for you and I, because we know how to take advantage of it. And we're teaching people every day how to take advantage of it. Of course, go to investorschooling.com. That's how you would learn. But honestly, it's going to be bad. If you've taken the mortgage deferment, I'm sorry, but it's going to be harder for you to recover than it would be if you didn't, believe it or not.
Well, I'll tell you what happened to me. So when I first saw it, I have a Wells Fargo home loan at the time on my primary residence, and there was a button. Hey man, lower your cell phone there.
I'm trying.
I'm not gonna let you be my radio host.
I'm trying to see the comments
Okay.
on Facebook. That's all.
So I saw this big red button on the Wells Fargo website that said "Defer your payments." So I clicked on it, and next thing I knew, I was enrolled in the program already.
Yeah, that was interesting too. That you just clicked a button. You didn't even have to. They didn't even ask you any
I
questions.
didn't apply for anything. I just
Sure.
clicked one red button, and next thing I know, so it didn't give you any details about what they were going to do with the payments, where the payment's going to be put on the back end, or whatever they were going to do. There were no details, right? Then all of a sudden, I get a bill in the mail. This was like, so figure it started early March, right? I get a bill in the mail like, it wasn't even May. It was like late April. And the bill was like $5,500 was owed. And I'm like, they're doing it. They're now billing me for it. So I immediately paid the
which was smart.
$5,500 and ended the program. I didn't want to be in it. Simultaneously, the Small Business Administration started paying my mortgage payment for me in my office building.
No way.
Never. I
That I
told you
didn't know.
about this.
Right,
I
right.
never asked for this.
Right.
They just did it. And I immediately started calling them because I'm like, what's going on here? You putting this on the back? Or when am I going to get? I don't want to get hit with it's $10,000 a month.
Yeah,
I didn't
sure.
want to get hit with an $80,000 bill or something, right? So I'm calling them, and they go, no. We're paying the payment for you.
We're paying the payment for you.
They're
That's
paying the
amazing.
payment for me. So they did it for 6 straight months, right? This was during initially in March, when Trump was president, right? Then at the end of this year, sometime around the end of 2020, sometime around October, I guess it was, I get this letter in the mail and it says, we're going to pay 3 more of your payments. I called them again just to say, why would you do that? And they said, because we're doing it. It's part
Right.
of the plan. And so I got like 9 months of payments. That's like $90,000. I didn't
amazing.
even ask for
Yeah,
it.
sure. Well, how about these idle loans? The idle loans, we were supposed to start paying them come this June, and they've already deferred those payments another year. And,
Did they defer it another year? You're talking about the SBA loans?
the SBA loans, yeah.
You know, I've been wondering why I don't have any information.
Yeah, because they
about-
deferred them again. They deferred them another 12 months. And here's the odd part about the fact that they deferred them another 12 months. I actually started paying one of them. And I noticed it's not coming off. It's not coming off. It's like I stopped paying it. I was paying it, and then I stopped paying it because I noticed that I would get the bill and the same exact amount was due every month, even though I was paying it.
So what's the
I have no idea what's going on with these idle loans too. I think they're going to all end up being forgiven or forgotten.
What's the end game? Are they trying to buy support?
I don't know.
Are they trying to bankrupt the country?
I don't know, but it's funny because my father-in-law said something today which I thought was hysterical, and it's true. He said, the country is now living on the credit card mentality. We're borrowing and borrowing. I mean, the country itself is borrowing off credit cards that they're never going to be able to pay.
Well, if you look at the behavior of the current so-called president in the White House, One would think that he's trying to bankrupt the country.
And then again, you and I have different views on this. I think that they're just that stupid, and you think it's a conspiracy. And either one, it doesn't matter. But I just find it interesting that how I mean, do these people know how to do math? I don't understand.
Okay, so at this point, we're somewhere in the range of $6 trillion spent.
Right.
$6 trillion spent. Anyway.
Yeah, look, it's like this. The
Hey.
50,000 is the new $5. You notice that everybody has cash now? They have, I mean, I don't mean cash, but they have money right now. There's Bitcoin and Ethereum and Dogecoin and all this other stuff. Everybody's got money. Where's everybody getting all this money from? That's the other odd thing that's going on right now.
So you're getting kind of political, but you never really told us what you think's going to happen with the stock market.
Well, the stock market right now, it's done. We are now going to go into the point where it's going to end. And you and I were talking about this the other day. We were talking about
What
it
do
in
you mean
class.
the point
it's now
where it's
time.
going to end? What does that mean?
Well, it's not going to keep going high after high after high.
So we're in a bear market.
No, not yet. We're heading for one. We're obviously not in a bear market. We're obviously still in a bull market. But it's going to be heading into a bear market, and it's going to head in fast. And it's going to stay there for a while. Now, the typical bear market will last, anywhere from 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and that's fine. And we'll make money off it. In fact, I'm looking forward to it because those are all opportunities. But right now, it's going to happen. The stock market and the housing market, they're going to crash. Housing market, I give it 2 more years, and we're going to see similar 2008 results, which is really bad. I really never expected this to happen again, but after the government has been giving away all this money, it's going to happen again. And it's sad, but this time I'm going to be much more prepared for it. I know you're going to be much more prepared for it. And I know our students are going to be extremely prepared for it.
Well, I was prepared pretty well in the last one. I didn't lose any property.
Yeah, you did very well. I made the mistake of over leveraging myself in 2006.
You're an aggressive guy, and
Yeah.
you can't unaggressive yourself.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true.
I'm pretty aggressive myself. I'm not far behind you.
Yeah, that's true. But you're doing very well. I'm doing very well, and things are fine. It's just interesting that we're going to be prepared. I mean, I tell you, I've said this before. Gold, actually, silver is the place to be. A little bit of gold. I don't know. I'm on the fence on crypto.
Can I see the comments up
Sure.
there? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you would minimize John Cole's comments.
Okay, there you go. There's the comments. All right.
It would be
there-
scary in 9 to 12 months. I hope it doesn't start killing. our
You know,
neighbors for
while you're
food.
reading those, you're live on the air. on
Yeah,
the
I'm
radio.
well aware
So
of
the
it.
people in the car are going, "What is he doing?"
I'm reading.
He's reading the comments. You want to read them out loud? Go ahead. Read every single one.
No, I just wanted to
You
read
just want to read.
Janet's.
Okay, you want to read Janet's. All right. So what did Janet say? Janet said, what did Janet say?
I hope we don't start killing our neighbors for food.
I hope we don't start killing our neighbors for food. Well, Janet, if you don't have a gun permit, you will be the one killed. So make sure you get one. All right. So now we've gone totally political.
All right.
which
How about we hit
I'm actually at the point where I don't even care anymore. Let's just go political every week.
Why don't we start talking about some actual real estate and stock option topics?
Let's do that.
Okay. I'll give you a couple questions. You pick the one you like.
All right.
Is wholesaling the quickest and best way to earn in real estate? What are some trends in today's real estate market? What is the best real estate investing strategy for newbies? Any one of these you can answer, Larry.
Well, you said you were going to read them off when I was
I was
supposed
gonna
to
read a
tell you
couple.
which one I wanted to talk about. You didn't get to the one I wanted to talk about yet.
Well, just tell me which one you want to talk
I want to talk about the next one that you didn't read yet.
Can I begin real estate investing with no money?
Can I begin real estate investing with no money? That's the one I want to talk about.
All right, go
That's
ahead.
my favorite topic. I love buying real estate without any money.
Yeah, I kind of like that topic as well.
So here's a question for you, Phil. If you had $1 million in the bank, $1 million in the bank, how much real estate can you buy?
It's virtually a unlimited amount. It would depend. I mean, I could use some of the money for marketing money to look for leads where I could take over loans subject to or buy houses from people that are free and clear and do seller financing deals. So I have a lot of options. And the amount of houses I could buy, the amount of real estate that I could buy, it's virtually impossible to calculate that right now, but let's just say it would be many, many, many times more than $1 million.
So it's 1 million houses.
No, not 1 million houses.
Oh.
Many, many
Times
times
more than $1 million.
more than $1 million.
Right. I mean, I always answer that question. I could buy as many houses as I want and still have $1 million.
Well, sure, you could theoretically. Yes,
I might even be able to buy $1 million worth of houses and have more than $1 million.
maybe you would.
Yeah. Hey, I think we have Scott on hold from New Jersey. I wonder if he's going to answer your question. Who rode with Paul Revere?
Put him on.
What's going on, Scott?
All righty. Hey, Phil. Hey, Larry.
What's going on, man? You gonna answer Phil's question?
Yeah. Brother Paul Revere, Masons or anything, wrote in history on April 18th with Mr. William Dawes.
That's
They had two just in case one got caught.
that is the correct
Yeah,
answer.
Yeah, but he knew the date and everything. Do you think that he looked it up on Google?
I don't really trust
No.
any callers.
I'm just a shyster, right?
No,
Well,
no.
I get called a shyster about 10 times an hour on this show.
Do I have to do it? All right, I'll do it.
Sounds like a mafioso shyster.
Yeah, I still would like to talk to the guy who called in.
Yeah, I wonder if
But,
he ever listened to the show.
I call his name out all the time on the show, Mr. Mafioso Shyster. Why don't you call us up and tell me what you really think of me? You weasel. You chicken.
Don't do it.
I said chicken.
I know. Just don't do it.
Buck,
We got
buck,
in trouble
buck,
last
buck,
time
buck,
because you finished that word. We almost got thrown off the air for you finishing that word.
But I didn't use that word.
I know. That was pretty good.
Right, I'm getting
All right,
better.
Scott. We appreciate your call, man. Anything else going on that you want to talk about?
I know you guys are kind of concerned about all the stocks and everything right now.
We'll get there in a little while, man.
Things are going around in politics.
Yep.
Huh?
All right, we'll get there in a little while.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, bud.
Keep up the great work.
All right, where were we before Scott
Here-
interrupted us?
Here's a good question. Can creative financing make a standard deal amazingly profitable?
Say that one more time. I just like the way you said it.
Can creative financing make a standard deal amazingly profitable?
Amazingly profitable? I believe it can be amazing and amazingly profitable.
It sure can. Why don't you explain that part, Larry? Because
Wh-
people
so-
don't really understand that.
So creative finance. So here's an interesting thing about creative financing. I don't really care how much I pay for the property if the financing is creative enough. And I have actually offered people $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more for their property because it came with financing, and that is real helpful. So, for example, I give you, I don't know, great example. I made an offer on a house. The woman was selling it for $230,000. I offered her $260,000. If I gave her $10,000 down, and I think I was going to make a payment of $1,500 or something, and I could collect $2,300 a month rent, and that was the offer. And she was amazed that I was able to give her that much money. But to me, the profit to me was the difference between the mortgage payment and the amount of money I was collecting in rent. And that was pretty profitable. It may take me longer to pay it off, but so what? It was 0% interest. That was nice too. $1,500 a month, 0% interest, just like when we bought the building over at Investor Schooling, we bought that with 0% interest. Is that what you had in mind, or do you have something even cooler?
No, I mean, there's a couple different ways to do it, and I love them both. You have your favorite, I have mine, but I did a wonderful, wonderful subject to deal in East Norriton.
Oh, that was a great one.
And basically, this was a highly unusual scenario. I've been in the business for 32 years. I have been explaining these strategies to sellers almost, half of that time. Maybe 20 years of my 32 years I've been explaining to people about subject to deals and how they work. And in this scenario, this was the first time that a seller said to me, "Hey, why don't you take over my house subject to?"
Yeah, that was pretty amazing that somebody actually asked you to do that.
Right, and I said, "How did you know about it? Because you're like the first seller I've ever even heard of who suggested that to me." And he said, "Oh, I went to a seminar down at the Philadelphia airport about 15 years ago. I paid $800 for."
I want to know who you paid the $800 to, because you owe them $1,000.
I do, but I'm not really going to track them down to pay them. But so basically, this house they owed approximately $325,000, something like that, and they were $15,000 behind in arrears, and they were approaching a sheriff's sale, and I put up to $15 just to,
Yeah.
keep the house, and at this point, it's just gravy for me. I rented it out already. I'm making nice cash flow, and the house is in relatively excellent condition, so I don't really have to worry about it. And I'm just gonna, collect my rent every month and make some nice cash flow and turn around in 10 years, and maybe I'll sell it for, $500,000.
So I have a question for you. You said that you paid the $15,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you pay the $15,000 after you closed or before?
I paid it after I closed.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure. I mean, I knew you knew the answer, but I have a lot of people, if they come to me like, oh, the seller owes $15,000 in their back end, and they want me to pay it now, and then I could buy the property. No. You don't pay it until the property's in your own name. That's one of the issues that I see a lot of times. People, first of all, you pay the $15,000, and they can say, hey, never mind, I'm not going to go to closing. How are you going to get $15,000 back?
Right. Sure. Well, in this situation, this was a different kind of situation. This guy was so hot to get out of this house and move to the new area.
I remember.
That he literally moved without even telling me.
That's funny.
So I was calling him, and he wasn't answering his phone because he only had one cell phone, which was his work number. And when he moved, his company immediately shut off his phone because he must have notified him that he moved, that he was out. So he split and went to Hilton Head. And I'm in a position where all I had was an email address or his wife's cell phone, and trying to track this guy down wasn't exactly easy, but I did it.
Well, I'm glad you tracked him down. You wouldn't have been able to close.
Yeah.
So I gotta go. What's going on with your best deal? Your mobile home park.
Well, I got some problems with both of those, the two deals I have under contract. One of them is it's basically a woman who owns these two parks.
She owns them both.
She owns two parks,
Right, okay.
One's for $325,000, one's for $600,000. So I got $925,000 worth of mobile home parks that are out there, and she just refused to give me the leases, refused to give me bank statements or tax returns. I'm perfectly fine with it, to tell you the truth. I don't care, because I'm willing to buy both of these parks, no matter what's going on there, no matter what she's lying about, no matter what she's hiding.
Sure.
I want them anyway. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I want to buy both these parks anyway. But one of the things I wanted her to do was, one of the parks was only $50,000 down, and the rest was seller financing. So I said, well, let's close on that one right away. She says, no. You have to buy them both at the same time. I said, what do you care? What do you care? You're selling me two separate parks under two separate agreements. I'd rather get the first one done, and this way I could work on it, get some homes in there, get some people in there, turn that one around before I buy the other one. Now she's making...
How quickly do you expect to buy the second one?
Well, she wants me to buy them both on the same
Well,
day.
I understand, but in your mind, when you say wait, how long do you want to wait?
Not that long. It would have
month?
been like another 45 days later.
Okay.
All right,
So
but she's...
I was just wondering how much you could turn the park around in
Okay.
45 days.
Understand something, that I got a guy who works for me down in Florida.
Yeah, I know, right? Sure.
He was willing, provided, all I had to do was provide him a trailer to live in.
Right.
He was going to move from where he is now right into this new park and start working on it immediately.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I want. That's all I want.
You think he'll show up?
Absolutely, yeah.
I got contractors that don't show up. So.
Okay, well, he's been working for me for 5 years. And there's some benefits in it for him.
No, I
he's
understand.
a smart guy.
I'm just teasing you anyway. Good. All right.
Right.
So that part.
So-
I mean, I'd
so
like
I-
to see that close. I think that'd be awesome.
Okay, so I want him to move into the first park and start fixing it up, start taking care of it, and the other park is only like 10 minutes away. So he can just drive over to the other park, right? And start managing that one as soon as we buy that one. So I want him in the area and working on various things that need to be done. And there's no reason to hold up the one park. It is totally ready to go now. I got the money locked and loaded. All I got to do is send her one wire, and I'm finished.
Right,
Go
sure.
to settlement. Let's get this thing rocking so I can
Yeah.
get started. But it's almost like she's trying to be difficult.
Well, maybe she. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't really want to sell them, and maybe she's got seller remorse.
She might. She wasn't completely thrilled with the results of the negotiation,
Okay.
because I did a good job of negotiating on my behalf.
Sure. Now you need to close fast.
Well, I'm working on it.
All right. Well, good. Well, that'd be great. Okay. Cool. All right, so where were we? Because we've distracted ourselves.
All right. Well, we could talk about anything you'd like to talk about. Anything else on this list interest you?
What are some trends in today's real estate market? So we had this conversation the other day. So you were talking about wholesaling the other day in class. And by the way, if you guys ever want to learn anything about real estate investing, stock options trading, go to investorschooling.com and we will be happy to teach you. In fact, how much is the first class, Phil?
The first class is 100% absolutely free.
100%?
100%
Absolutely?
absolutely free.
Yeah, but if they come, is it a sales pitch?
No, of course it's not a sales pitch. It's an actual class.
Right.
You're sitting in a class that other people are paying for, and you're not paying for it.
That's pretty good. Don't you feel bad for the people who paid for it then?
Not really, because they understand. Because they got to sit
They
in
got
their...
the same free class.
They got the
Exactly
same
right.
free class when they first came to the school.
Yeah, we're not like those guys who fly in and do a 3-day sales pitch. You come to a class, and you may be a little confused because some of the topics are pretty intense. But we promise you that in time you're gonna learn all the topics. So if you show up, you're gonna show up to an actual class. And then what happens if they like the class?
Well, if they like the class and they behave themselves.
Only if they behave themselves.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
we've had
typ-
some people that did not.
Some people don't behave themselves, and we have to do something with them.
Yeah, exactly.
But other people behave themselves. If you behave yourself, here's what'll happen. You will most likely get invited to a complimentary class. And a complimentary class is complimentary to the free class
right.
that we already gave you.
Right, because Thursday is the class and complimentary mastermind meeting, right?
Yes, it is a mastermind meeting, but we don't really tell them that. We just tell them that it's complimentary.
Correct.
Right. And it is complimentary.
All right, and you will learn what we're going to teach. And some of the cool things about some of the trends in today's real estate market, you were talking about wholesaling the other day, and you know it's not wholesaling's not grim right now. It's just not as easy as it was. I don't know, even a year ago. Well, not necessarily a year ago, but a year and a half ago, whatever the heck it was. Because a year ago it was difficult. But
Well, it's probably still very easy to people who are unaware of the market's current conditions.
well, that's true. And here's what wholesaling is. Just for you guys who don't know, you're going to you're going to get a house under contract, and then from there, you're going to sell that contract to somebody else, and that's very simple wholesaling. So you get a house under contract, let's say for $100,000, and you sell that contract to someone for $120,000, including the price of the house of $100,000, and you make $20,000. And that's what wholesaling is. It's actually a really simple and easy way to make money. Now, what's difficult is finding the homes, because it used to be I mean, it still is actually. You mail out to a whole bunch of people. They respond to the mail. You go see them, and then they will sell you the home, and then you go find a buyer to buy the home. What's happening now is homes are selling so fast and there's such little inventory that it's more difficult to find homes. It's not impossible. In fact, we have students doing it, so it's not impossible. It's just that it's a little more difficult, and we will help you through that. But here's the cool part. If you start practicing it now, 2 years from now, if my prediction is correct that the market's going to be a nightmare, and it is going to be a nightmare, because it's all going to drop, you're going to be the one who knows how to do it, not the guy starting out. So you've already practiced talking to sellers. You've already practiced putting stuff under contract. You've already started to build your buyer's list and your seller's list, and it's going to get easier and easier for you. So now is the time to learn. So 2 years from now, when it's time to buy, you're the one buying.
So it's funny, a lot of people think that doing wholesale deals is somehow unethical or illegal. And I tell them, okay, so if I'm at an auction and there's a painting that comes up for sale, and the painting comes up for sale for $50,000, I decide to buy it. But before I even give the check to the auctioneer, someone else comes up to me and says, I'll give you $70,000 for it right now. And I say yes.
Did you know that happens at house auctions?
No one's ever said that to me at a house auction, but I wish they would.
No, it's the truth. It happens at house auctions. I watched it happen. So if you ever go to a sheriff's sale or a tax lien sale, it's an actual auction. But you'll actually watch the people. There's people who go there all the time. And my suggestion, if you ever want to do this, is go there. Don't bid on any houses for at least 5 times. Go there 5 times before you bid on any houses, and just watch and sit up front. As soon as they open up the world again, but right now they don't. And sit up front. And what you're going to see 2 people bidding, and they're bidding back and forth, 100,000, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. And then all of a sudden, one of them walks up to the other one, whispers in their ear, and that person sits down. What do you think just happened?
Well, we can only guess what just happened, but probably what you said. But I would suggest you sit in the back.
Why would you sit in the back?
Because when you're sitting in the front row, you can't keep turning your neck around to see who are the people who are bidding. When you sit in the back of the room or stand in the back of the room, you will see everybody who's bidding.
Yeah, but I'm seeing in the front.
And
I'm watching these interactions that
wait.
you may not be seeing.
Wait a minute. Not only will you see who's bidding, but you will know exactly who they are because it's usually just a couple of people who are buying
true.
almost all of the houses.
Right. It's the same 5 people or 6 people.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I would say at Bucks County sale, it's even less than that. It's usually like maybe 3 or 4 people that are buying all the properties. And everybody else is sitting there pretending like they're part of the game, but they're really not.
Agreed. Hey, by the way, if you're in your car, you can give us a call at 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. You can call us right now. And by the way, if you're listening to a repeat, because we're live right now, and we know we're live, but you don't know if we're live. But you can still call at 855-939-1137. If we're not live, I will probably answer the phone, or you can leave me a message, and I will call you back with your questions. And feel free to give us a call. So what do you think? You think we should go to commercial real quick?
Yeah, let's go to commercial. When we
right.
come back, we're going to answer the question that was emailed into us. What is Larry's favorite stock option play?
Here we go.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from InvestorSchooling.com. I'm inviting you to a complimentary class in Langhorne this Thursday night at 7 p.m. I will teach you how to buy ugly houses and make them beautiful. As a bonus, we will also teach you stock option investing. So get your butt to this meeting, 7 p.m. this Thursday night, Langhorne, 215-876-3002, InvestorSchooling.com.
Hey everybody, it's Larry Sinus from InvestorSchooling.com. You heard my partner Phil Falcone tell you why you should be there this Thursday night to learn about real estate investing and learn about stock options trading. We're telling you right now, you will make more money than you've ever made in your entire life if you learn these 2 skills. Be there this Thursday night at 7 o'clock in our Langhorne headquarters. Go to InvestorSchooling.com. Pull over right now. Take out your phone and go to InvestorSchooling.com. RSVP right now. InvestorSchooling.com. See you Thursday.
I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. I got a question for you. What do you get for $495 a month at Executech Suites? You get an office big enough for one person. You get the furniture in that office. You get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone number. You get the fax number. You get the internet. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you, whether you're in the office, in your car, or at home sleeping on a couch. You get the conference rooms, you get the mailboxes, you get the printer, the copier, the scanner, you get the janitorial service, the utilities, and free coffee. I know it's hard to believe that you could get all those things for $495 a month, but it's true. 67 Buck Road in Huntington Valley, Executech Suites. Give us a call at 215-942-7701, 215-942-7701.
Hey everybody, it's Larry Sinus from InvestorSchooling.com.
And I'm Phil Falcone from InvestorSchooling.com.
Hey, what are we going to teach them this Thursday night, Phil?
We're going to teach you how to invest in real estate so you can build a basis to get rich.
And I promise I'm going to teach you stock options. So go to InvestorSchooling.com and RSVP right now. Right, Phil?
We've been in this business for 30 years. We have amazing amounts of information to share with you. Get your butt to this meeting this Thursday night in Langhorne.
InvestorSchooling.com. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, if you want to call in, you can call in at 855-939-1137. We love your questions. 855-939-1137. Did you know that it's Mother's Day today, Phil?
I certainly do.
You know, and I know your mother's no longer with us, and God rest her soul. But I always like to listen to some of the great stories about you and your mother. And would that be all right if you told us one?
I'd be happy to.
All right, talk.
So when I was a kid, my mom took a special interest in me. Now, I'm not saying that she loved me more than her other children, but let's just say she gave me some extra attention. And she kept saying, I see something in you. I don't know what it is, but I see something in you. My mom was a pure entrepreneurial businesswoman like nobody that I really ever had known at that point in my life. And My mom ran 3 separate businesses. One of them was a printing company called Falcone Printing Service. My father did all the running of the press. My dad worked a full-time job, a company that he started as a loading dock laborer when he was like 18. And when my dad retired, he retired as the vice president of this company, and he had like 100 people working for him. And my dad worked this 40-hour-a-week job his entire life, while my mother, during the daytime, would go around to doctors' offices, and she, back in the day, doctors needed prescription pads. In order for them to write a script, they had to have certain information on a pad. There was some kind of government regulation that the pharmacists needed from the doctors. So my mother went around and would sell these doctors memo pads. So we would actually make prescription pads for doctors. I would actually make the prescription pads for doctors in our house. So what happened was my father would print the paper. He'd stack the paper like 1.5 feet high, right? And back then we didn't have like sticky glue on the back of every sheet, right? So what we used to do is I had a giant glue container, like a gallon of glue, and I would go down the basement. One of my jobs in the basement was to paste the glue on the back of the memo pads. And then you let it...
You were sniffing glue that early?
And so I would paste it on there, and then when it dried, it was like a memo pad, and you could pull it off. You could pull it off sheet at a time. And one of the big things that we made for Falcone Printing Service was prescription pads for doctors. My mom had almost every doctor in the area, anywhere near our house, was our clients. And my mother also ran a business where she would develop resumes for people, and some other things that she did in a third business, which we don't have to get into all of it. My father would often come home from a hard day's work, sit down at the dinner table, and he'd say, "Geez, I'm looking forward to watching the Phillies play the Yankees tonight." My mom would shake her head. "You ain't going to get to watch the Yankees tonight. I sold 6 projects today.
Wow.
And you've got to go down the basement and run the presses." And when my dad fired up the presses, the whole house would shake because the printing equipment was all in our basement. But back to my mother. My mom taught me business by playing Monopoly with me. She would always make me be the banker. She made me understand that there were liens against houses. We played games. We played poker for real money. So by the time I was 9 years old, I was mostly playing Monopoly and poker with my mother and my grandparents. Everybody played except for my dad. My dad didn't play games because he was usually running the printing press, right? So it's funny that today I play Monopoly for a living and I play poker for fun. I have not evolved one bit since I was 9 years old.
Well, I'll tell you that we used to play Monopoly as well, and Monopoly is absolutely one of my favorite games. By the way, you and I need to have a Monopoly challenge. It'll be a lot of fun to have a Monopoly challenge.
I haven't lost Monopoly since 1974.
Well, we definitely have to have a Monopoly challenge. I'm looking forward to that.
You're in big trouble.
But I also want to put a shout out to my mom. My mom, she's one of the most generous people I know. She would take care of anyone. She'd give the shirt off her back. And times when I was in trouble, and there was a couple of times I was in trouble, she took good care of me. And it's always wonderful to know that I could call her and she would be there if I needed her. And my goal is to not have her there for me. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, I always just want to make sure that I never need to call my mother and borrow money from her. Done it a couple of times when I was in trouble, and it all worked out really well. And it's fantastic that she is the way she is. So I wanted to say thanks, Mom. I don't even know if she's listening, but I wanted to say thanks, Mom, because she really is an awesome person.
Well, I only met your mom once, but I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to Mrs. Steinhaus.
Well, thank you, man. That was awesome. And the new Mrs. Steinhaus and the other Mrs. Steinhaus, and those are my kids and my wife.
I forgot all those other Steinhauses.
I know. I got a granddaughter, and I kind of got an adopted granddaughter, kind of like Jamie's daughter seems to be becoming a staple at her house. So that's kind of neat too. So
Yeah.
Jamie is the senior student liaison here at Investor Schooling, and she's become a daughter to Linda and I, and her daughter has become a granddaughter to us. It's just fantastic. So
Well, I kind of have an adopted mother, actually, because my mother-in-law and I have a wonderful relationship.
That's right. And your mother-in-law she's also wonderful.
She's a real estate investor. She's
Yeah.
a private investor.
Yep.
No, you can't have her phone number. And she is a wonderful person, and her and I see eye to eye. And she's even told me that she loves me more than her own children.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'm impressed.
All right, I'm kidding about that part.
Well, yeah, I don't think you are, but I think you realize that you shouldn't have said it.
Well, my mother-in-law understands that I often say things that I shouldn't have said.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
So she's okay with it.
I know. I remember one time we were out to dinner with your mother-in-law, and I used a 4-letter word, and she got very mad at me.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
What happened there?
She said I should never talk like that, and she's probably right, but she was very offended by it.
Well,
Anyway,
you offending people is such a common thing that I don't really notice it anymore.
I know. You know, it's people. You guys listen. Just so you guys know, the guys who are listening to us and somehow think that that we are all that and want to be our fans. We appreciate the fans, but just let us know. Just so you know that Phil and I are a $$ holes. So don't be surprised if you come and we make fun of you.
Well, we have fun in our classes, that's for sure. So,
Yeah. So with that said,
and
right?
sometimes having a little fun with the people in the room is a good time.
So with that being said, go to investorschooling.com so we can make fun of you this Thursday night for free.
I would love to make fun of you this Thursday night at 7:00. So come on down.
There you go. And you guys also should know we're an entertainment company. We entertain people while we teach, and I think that's one of the most fun things that we do is entertaining people. What do you think of that, Phil?
I think you're right.
I think so too. Because I said so.
So what do you
I
want to
must
talk
be right.
about now? Did you mention your favorite stock option play?
My favorite stock option play at the moment. My favorite stock option play is one that actually works. I've been having a really bad couple of weeks. Really bad.
I think most people have.
I know, it's
It's
very
been
sad.
an ugly couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's kind of odd that the Dow keeps going up, but my stocks keep going down, which also leads me to believe that we're going to have some trouble. But my favorite stock option play continues to be Facebook, and I believe it's a put at the moment. And I think I mentioned this the other day in class. I believe Facebook is a put at the moment, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes when we get to the stock option sultan part of the day. But it's interesting, very interesting. And the rules that we have, when we teach people stock options, we have rules that mitigate the risk. It doesn't mean you can't lose money. It just means that it's more likely not to lose money when you play with these rules. And when we teach you these rules, you'll be astonished at how often they work. I know you've been having good luck with it, and you've also been having a couple of bad days too, right?
Oh yeah. I don't think too many people could escape the last few weeks.
Yeah, I know it's been murder, but we'll be all right. We'll recover. A little stressful, but we'll recover.
I have faith in the system, and
Yes.
I have faith in the skills that I now possess from your system of investing in stock options.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So I have no doubt that my day will come.
And here's another thing that you should know. We are actually, we are full disclosure. We will show you that we're having a bad day. We will show you having a good day. We'll show you having a bad month. We'll show you having a bad quarter. Whatever it is, we will show it to you because we believe in full transparency. We want you to see that the reality of stock options trading. We want to see the reality of real estate investing. We have every once in a while. It's been a long time since I've had a bad real estate deal, but at the same time, we talk about some past deals that were bad deals, and we will talk to you about. And that's the whole idea of the school. The whole idea of the school is for you to understand that we have made mistakes, and we're teaching you how not to make those mistakes again. And that's how you're going to make money in this business. And look, real estate investing, I'm telling you, real estate investing, and we talked about this last week, the quickest way to get rich is buy and hold. Oh, I'm sorry, not the quickest way, the best way. It's not the quickest way, it's the best way.
Yeah, it's not the quickest way. It's not the easiest way.
That's right.
It's the best way.
It's the best way.
It's the best way to make the most amount of money you could possibly make.
Yes, agreed.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
And
the
you
easiest way is something else.
And 5 years, if you buy a house now, 5 years from now, you're going to be very happy you bought the house.
I would agree.
And that is going over and over and over again in the history of my houses. All right, what do you want to talk about, Phil? Because we got about 15 minutes, and we need about 5 minutes to go over some stock options picks.
What do I want to talk about? Did we cover all these topics?
Well, actually,
here?
we should give the audience a chance to ask us a question. 855-939-1137. If you're listening in your car, you're listening on Facebook, just pick up your phone, 855-939-1137, and ask us anything that has to do with real estate, stock options, or money. 855-939-1137. I have to tell you something funny. You know, I said this before that, you know, when we're not live, because we rebroadcast this to several stations. I think it's 7 now, 7 different stations now. And every once in a while during the day, I'll get a phone call because the rebroadcast is on. And I'm going to tell you, some of the nuttiest people call me. And they have some very funny things to say. And some are interesting and some are nutty.
You want to give me some examples of the nutty ones?
Some guy called me yesterday. He told me he was suing the United States.
What does that have to do with our stuff?
I don't know.
I could tell you this. Okay, so I wrote my first book in 2009. It's called Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And I started going around the Philadelphia area doing real estate presentations in order to sell my book and also to build a brand for myself. And what brand? The Phil Falcone brand. That's what brand. And I would go around to various meetings that were looking for different speakers to come out. And I noticed that some really unusual people started texting me, emailing me, going on my website and making comments, to the point where I had after the first year of going around speaking, I had about 5 different people who definitely had a screw loose, who apparently were contacting me multiple times a week. And I realized that I guess this is what happens if you make a brand of yourself, that some unusual individuals will start reaching out to you.
Well, we definitely have some part-time fame going on. You know, we see it, and you know, and we certainly appreciate it. We're not that famous, but we certainly appreciate the fact that people admire us and admire our advice. But hey, we got Jose from New Jersey on hold. What's up, Jose?
How you doing?
What's going on? Talk to me, man.
Yes, I've been listening to your shows. I think it says say a lot about you guys. You're real people.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate
that.
My
question is, you're welcome. My question is, do I need a license to be a real estate investor or to work on real estate?
It depends. In New Jersey, I am not aware that you need a license, okay? So you are an individual, Jose, and you could walk up to me, who is also an individual, and you could make a deal to buy a house from me or to sell me a house. You are capable of doing that without having a real estate license, all right? In Philadelphia, if you had chosen to become a wholesaler, you would need a license to be a wholesaler in Philadelphia. Not like you couldn't do a wholesale deal underneath the radar. I'm sure you could. But there are certain places, namely Philadelphia, where you would need a wholesale license. I am unaware of a license being required to complete a transaction in the state of New Jersey. But New Jersey also is one of my least favorite states. So I wouldn't be surprised if they invoked a new license next week because of this radio show.
And also, Jose, there's different kind of licenses, so be careful. You know, so some counties, some townships require you to have a business license or some kind of inspection. So make sure, you know, assuming you're a buy and hold, what kind of real estate business are you intending to be in, or are you in?
I would like to start on residential real estate and then trying to invest some money in commercial real estate.
So you want to own the buildings, correct?
I would like to start, I would like to start on residential.
Right, but you want to own the buildings, correct, and then rent them out.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I would like to do.
Well, I know a great way to get started in that.
How could he get started, Phil?
He could get started by getting his butt to Investor Schooling this Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
That's a good idea.
And we'll even shake your hand.
Yes, we will.
And by the way,
Okay.
and by the way,
and I got something better we're going to give Jose.
Well-
We're going to let Jose bring anybody he wants to bring to this meeting for free.
yeah, and since you have that Governor Murphy, since you have Governor Murphy, if you come in,
that want to show up.
if you come in and you say I hate Governor Murphy, I'll even give you a seat up front.
And if you could
I
bring
will take
Governor
Governor
Murphy, well then that
He
would.
can bring Governor Murphy. I'll give him free lessons forever.
Oh, I was gonna say like 5
can
large
say,
if you could get Murphy to show up. If you could get Murphy
I
to
can
show
say
up with
I
you,
hate
5 large.
Murphy.
Okay.
Are we gonna see?
Okay,
Are we gonna see you on Thursday, Jose?
Yes, I promise you that. I'll be there.
Okay.
Well, you make sure you mention that we spoke to you on the radio.
And Jose, bring some people with
I
you.
will.
We love that. We love crowds.
All right.
Yes, I got a couple of friends coming with me.
All right.
Great.
We look forward to it, man. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So what about the stock option Sultan? Can we get him in here today?
I think we might be able to. I don't know. The stock option Sultan has been pretty beat up lately, so let's see if he's around.
Stock option Sultan. Stock option Sultan.
Wow, for you guys on Facebook, you didn't even notice that the stock option Sultan came in. You couldn't see him walk in. You heard him walk in, but you couldn't see him walk in.
Well, he doesn't like to be filmed.
It's that hat. By the way, if you guys got to come to Investor Schooling and just check out the stock option Sultan segment. It is the most fun you will have learning about anything that has to do with anything in life. I don't care what it is, but you'll just happen to learn about stock options as well. So it's kind of cool. All right. So here's the deal. Oh, my goodness. It's a rough right now. Really, really rough. So I'm not quite sure where to go, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's time to zig and zag. And I think it's time for puts. The S&P there's a EFT called the SPY, SPY, that I think is a put play, which means the SPY is going to go down, the S&P is going to go down. We're going to have, I'm going to predict within the next 30 days, it might even be sooner, but within the next 30 days, we're going to have a massive downturn day. Maybe a day where the S&P goes down 2 to 250 points. And that's the day you're going to cash in on this put. And you're going to take your money and run. I've seen the NASDAQ go down. Last week, the NASDAQ one day was down 350 points, which blew my mind. And the Dow was up, which was even crazier. So there's some serious stuff going on and some serious stock stalling going on. And we need to take advantage of the stock stalling. And that's what's going to happen. So we have the NASDAQ definitely stalling. Facebook, Apple, all stalling. I'm surprised that Apple isn't at 150 right now or 160, but it's not. So let's take advantage of it. I'd like to see Apple going into the 1-teens, and I'm a buyer. I think it's a call. Apple above 135 to me is a put, but it's got to happen really fast. Like, if it happens this week, yes. If it happens next week, it may be a totally different scenario. But Facebook this week it's a put now. Facebook, I believe, will hit 280 before it hits 350, and I think 350 is in the cards by the end of the year, which is also odd. So remember, we're going to have some serious swings. The weird thing is the VIX isn't showing it. The VIX is actually going down. It's actually going to normal range right now, which is odd to me too. And maybe my radar's off. I don't know, and that could be. But if my radar's off, then that's fine. Hopefully we'll tune it back in. But I just see and feel something with the numbers that does not look right. It's scary and not right.
You're still in Zoom and Baba, are you not?
Unfortunately, yeah. And they're both scaring me.
So
Zoom,
Monday is going to be a telling morning.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Zoom. The fact that Zoom broke below 300 really, really scares me. Alibaba should be 280 by now, and again, it's not. So I don't understand what's going on with that either.
You know, there's not a lot of time left till earnings for Baba.
I know we got beat up on Beyond Meat pretty bad. That was $100,000 to me, Beyond Meat. That was bad, and these two are not making me happy either. So I actually have to apologize to everybody about Beyond Meat. I did not know it was a Reddit manipulated stock until recently. I discovered that Friday, and I did not know that, and it really bothered me that I didn't know that this is one of the stocks that Reddit. You got to stay away from the Reddit manipulated stocks because they play with the numbers and they make them look fake. So when I read the charts, the normal chart reading would say that Beyond Meat was a perfect play, but it was Reddit manipulated, and that's why the chart didn't make any sense. That's why it was not the right number. Now, I still think Beyond Meat is a good company. I still think that they have a chance to go back up, and I'm in a couple of plays until August, September, and I'm going to see how they ride out. But you know, when Beyond Meat was hitting 200, that's because it was manipulated. So it really should be probably the 125 should probably be the peak instead of the 150, 200 that I thought it might be, because those were all manipulated numbers, and it's sad that I missed it. And my apologies to everybody out there who followed me into Beyond Meat. But there's other places to go, and I do make mistakes. I'm human. Sometimes I don't think I'm human, but I am. Anyway, what else we got here? We got Apple. Apple, like I said, already picked those numbers. Zoom. I think Zoom is a call at this point. I really do. Look, you know, Zoom, of course, the big thing with Zoom right now is the fact that everybody apparently is going back to work. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Zoom is going to become the staple. It's not going to become, like, in other words, people are going to do Zoom appointments now. They're going to basically say, hey, can we do a Zoom appointment? Because now people are used to it. They know how to do it. So if I'm a salesperson and I got to drive an hour to a company that I normally would have gotten in the car and drove an hour to the company, I'm going to say, hey, let's do a Zoom appointment. And they'll do the Zoom appointment. Unfortunately for salespeople, that's going to be bad, but they're going to do it anyway because people are generally lazy. And that's why Zoom is going to flourish. Zoom's prices are also going to go up. They're going to pull the Netflix, the way Netflix pulled. You know, do you remember how much you were paying for Netflix 5 years ago? $8.95.
I actually was a Netflix subscriber back when they used to mail you CDs.
Were you really? I wasn't then, but I was.
Yeah.
I got on Netflix as soon as they did the internet stuff.
Back then, it was like $5.97 a month or something.
Right.
But you
right.
you got a CD sent to you,
Right.
one at a time. You watched it, then you sent it back. You
Right.
got another one. You could build a list of 20, 30
Yep.
movies you wanted to watch, and then they just kept coming to you.
Actually, you know what? I think I actually got that right at the tail end before they went digital. But when they went digital, it was $8.95. And then there was a big thing. It was about 4 years ago. It was a big thing about them raising the prices to $12.95. And everybody was scared. Oh, Netflix is going to go down. The stocks are going to go down. Blah, 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 blah. And Netflix is going to lose subscribers. Do you know what I'm paying now? Almost $20.
It's worth it.
And I didn't even notice it. Like one day I'm like, wow, Netflix is $20. I didn't even notice it because it's a subscription and it's on my credit card. It just hits my credit card every month, and I didn't even realize that they had raised the price to almost $20, and I had no idea. Zoom is going to do the same thing. Zoom has your credit card,
Well,
and Zoom is going to automatically. By the way, I think we pay $5,000 to Zoom a year now because, by the way, if you want to become go to Investor Schooling, you don't want to go live, you could go on Investor Schooling and you could watch us via Zoom, and we do a full video production. But we're close to out of time, aren't we? We've got about another minute. So what do you think, Phil? What else? What do you want to say before everybody disappears?
I think everybody should cancel their cable because it costs too much money, and bag your cable, ditch it, and then get yourself Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and
InvestorSchooling.com.
And InvestorSchooling.com, of course. You want to attend real estate classes. How else are you going to learn how to buy real estate and to buy stock options?
You want to say goodbye to John?
All right, so we want to thank our producer, Mr. John Cole, for helping us out today. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor on our show, email us at info@investorschooling.com. That's info@investorschooling.com. We are out of here.